Alright, picture this. We're in ancient Greece and the year is 1300 BC. It's a period of various achievements for the world that is yet to be. Philosophical, artistic, and scientific advancements are appearing left, right, and center. It would be a sin to not mention the spectacular Greek mythology that's shaping the world even right now as we speak. That statement may sound exaggerated, but recall the popular meme about a certain someone eternally pushing a rock uphill. But in all seriousness, modern thinking can be, and mostly is, traced back to Greek mythology and its timeless stories. My personal favorite one being, you'd never guess this, Orpheus and Eurydice. Long story short, Orpheus is a talented musician whose loved one dies. So, he descends into the underworld, convinces Hades, the god of the dead, to give Eurydice back, but fails to get her to the surface, mourns the loss, and dies. Short and sweet, right? But hear me out for a sec. Even though it was brief, he visited the Greek definition of hell and persuaded the literal god of it just to earn some time with a woman. A man of every lady's dreams, I imagine. Or the least down bad gamer. But what if his adventure's direction was reversed? Orpheus was from the surface and he descended. What if his origin was the underworld and he ascended? An important factor of every action game is high quality sound design. Now, when I say high quality, I'm not talking about audio bitrate. I'm talking about the atmosphere, the mental kick you get from shooting down an enemy or slashing them with a sword. A minute success from a victorious battle. That's what it's all about. And that's what Hades, the game, accomplished, in fact perfected, as a slash 'em up. The video game genre slash 'em up, or more known as hack and slash, is all about melee combat against a large number of opponents. The biggest challenge of this genre is not making such a game sound like a mess of slashes, screeches and grunts, accompanied by a copyright-free fighting song in the background. Suffice to say, Hades, the game, did it correctly. Not just that, they did it really well, like smashed it out the damn park type beat. How does one accomplish this? It's like Darren Korb, the composer and songwriter for Hades, the game, said, "Alright guys, make this go real hard for no reason." And the musician said, "Aight, we ball." And here's another thing. Alongside the metal guitars, percussion, and wind instruments, Korb included traditional instruments, a Greek bouzouki, a Turkish baglama, and a lafta, all string instruments. I mean, sure, they're all technically replaceable by an acoustic guitar, but he didn't do that, and you can really tell the difference in some of the songs.
Farewell to all the earthly remains. No burdens, no further debts to be paid.
But let's go back to the fighting music. I assume you still aren't moved by the sound design? Well, allow me to introduce adaptive music. Primitive in theory, right? Just make a song for every part of the game, fade out, fade in, boom, AAA gameplay. And sure, it works for some games, but what if the music adjusted itself based on what's going on at that very moment and smoothly transitioned like STDs in raw orgies? You guessed it, Hades, the game, does have adaptive music. I call it fighting phases. Each sector's theme song has 3 phases. The first one is the standard one, where wretches are coming at ya and you fight them. Easy as that. The second one is an aftermath one, triggering once all the enemies in an encounter are defeated. Once that happens, all the instruments go away, except for a bass guitar. And of course, once you enter another fight, all the instruments come right back. Lastly, the third one is the boss phase, which triggers once you enter the last encounter of an underworld sector, a boss fight. This time, rather than holding back, the instruments go in, percussion goes ham, electric guitar joins in, and overall, song just goes nuts. I've already showed you one, so there's no need to do it again, but I'd be lying if I said I don't love it, because I do. A crucial part of all roguelikes is permadeath. Once you die, there are no checkpoints. You have to start from the very beginning. Keeping this information in mind, investing your coins into upgrades and heals is a lot more careful, since currency does not stay in your inventory after death. Or does it? Well, kinda. To combat death's permanent losses, Supergiant Games added currencies which stay with you post-mortem, with the only exception being the standard gold coins, Charon Zobos. We've got Darkness, Gemstones, Chthonic Keys, and Nectar, all allowing you to upgrade Zagreus, his weapons and abilities. Here's what each of them's for. Darkness is used to add extra abilities to your character through the Mirror of Night. For example, extra damage on backstabs, or the ability to avoid near death and gain some health. Gemstones are used to buy furniture, but they can also be used to get extra bonuses when claiming rewards in encounters. Chthonic Keys are for unlocking new weapons and allow you to refund all purchases in the Mirror of Night, in case you misclicked or something like that. And Nectar can be given to Olympian gods. In return, you get keepsakes, talismans, each giving you strong passive abilities. You can always take one with you on your escape attempts to make it just a little bit easier. Now sure, all of those sound cool, but what if I told you there is a way to, quite literally, get stronger with every death? Yeah, by keeping frozen hookers in your basement. I mean, by enabling God mode in your settings, you gain a small percentage of damage resistance. And with every death, that percentage goes up. And although it is intended for gamers who mainly care about Hades, the game's story, there's no shame in it, especially if you have almost 80% damage resistance because of how stubborn you are at getting background footage. Let's just move on. So, Supergiant, an independent game dev studio, and they love their fans. They want them to experience an interactive and a more personal connection with their characters. So what do? Well, not much, other than make a script that's over 300,000 words and recorded more than 21,000 different voice lines for the game. Does this make it fresh even after 80 hours of gameplay? You bet. Every single detail, every movement or a click of a button, the game carefully observes it and makes the characters point it out sometimes. To prove my point, here are 3 examples that, although are very specific, definitely accomplish what I'm trying to show y'all. First up, the 3rd sector, Elysium. When at the final encounter with the heroes of Elysium, you can see many pictures of the 2 heroes, Asterius and Theseus. But there's also one small picture of our protagonist Zagreus. And if you defeat the 2 bosses and walk over to that exact picture, Zagreus will speak to the ghost cheering you on. And there are many different voice lines for this specific instance.
We got them, my good Shade. Until next time, good Shade. Hope you enjoyed the show, my good Shade. I won again, Shade, thanks to your support.
Second example, when at the very first sector, Tartarus, by entering a room with an exclamation mark on a rock, boulder, this thing, you can talk to the one and only Sisyphus. You get to learn about his evil past, betrayal of many god secrets, killing visitors of his kingdom just to show off power, and his ultimate punishment, which actually led to his redemption arc, canonically only in this game, and helped him make a friend for life, the boulder he was once forced to push. Even gave him a name, Baldy. But for some weird reason, Sisyphus allows you to give Baldy some nectar in exchange for plus 2% ambiguity. I'll let you figure out the stat's usefulness. Baldy even has voice lines reacting to your gift, my most favorite one being... I mean, what else did you expect? Alright, for this last example, I have to welcome a new character on the stage, Thanatos, the embodiment of death, Hades' subordinate, childhood friend of Zagreus. During your escape, he may occasionally run into you and challenge you to a competition of who can kill more shades. If you beat him, then alongside your standard encounter reward, he'll give you a bonus one. But if you do that and complete the encounter at a swift pace, he has a special voice line, that being... During that same escape, you may run into something called an Infernal Gate, run by Hades, the god himself. Similar to a standard encounter, with the difference that it must be perfectly cleared without taking any damage. If you succeed, you get a substantially better reward. If you fail, you get garlic. If during the same escape attempt with the Thanatos encounter, you enter an Infernal Gate and also complete it quickly, Hades will tell you,
"You're quick, I'll give you that."
Now either this was incredible luck, getting these very similar voice lines, or the game knew about my Thanatos challenge and gave me a special set of voice lines for this niche, very vague occasion. The true answer is clear, but it's up to you to decide. And that's about it. It took me almost 90 hours of gameplay, but I finally managed to complete Hades. I admit that there could be more things to elaborate on, like the story and its epilogue, the dialogue system, or the boss fights, but those are parts of the game that I feel like are incomparable to other roguelikes. There's no quote-unquote wrong way to make a roguelike. Still, having said that, there's no doubt in my mind that Hades was and still is one of the roguelikes in the world. And you have to appreciate that Supergiant Games wanted to work on a second one. Right now it's available on Steam in early access. Based on what was already publicly known since its early beta tests, there's a reason for all the hype. The soundtrack is yet again amazing, the story sounds exciting, and some characters make a return from the first Hades. The combat may be sick, but what isn't sick is that you haven't used your primary attack yet to smash that subscribe button. If you don't want to lose your body like the Medusa, you'll like the video. And that's not a threat, that's a statement. But, all jokes aside, in all seriousness, thanks for sticking around for so long. Remember that if a literal rock can have a friend for life, you can have one too. Goodbye for now and see you soon. However long it takes.